Harry Kane should have,
signal.
you know, a couple of years ago, that should have happened. I think they could have got him. I think
that's the biggest mistake I think they've made in the last 10 years. Yeah. Well, I think if they go and play the number that Spurs want, they would have got him. And if we're to believe that, then I think if it didn't happen because of a couple of million here or there, I think it was a terrible decision. I honestly think, I'll say this and I'm convinced, if United had gone and got Declan Rice and Harry Kane in that window, Man United are in a different place now, because again, it goes back to the environment. Those two drive an environment, I think, together.
You do need an environment.
We'll get back to Michael in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if there's something on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments and he is always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this clip, Michael Owen talks about the elite mentality that Manchester United need to get to, or re-get to, in order for them to challenge again for the Premier League. He makes some strange comparisons, and he also suggests who Man United should have signed to help them get back to that elite mentality and create the right environment for United to get back to where they were. Anyway, stick around for after the clip, because the Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on what Michael had to say. Here he is.
Well, listen, let's move on now, and finally, we're going to get to United strikers. It's been a problem for Man United strikers. What did you make of them last season? You
put Joe Blogg's average player into Liverpool's team now, and you just watch him. He will go like that. You buy him for £1 million, you'd be able to sell him for 30. I'm not saying he's going to be world class, but you'd sell him for 30 million in a few years. It's an environment. It's the whole thing, and I just think that it's easy to say, oh yeah, but they keep buying bad players. But do they? Yeah, there will be a lot of them, but not all of them were bad. You know, when they bought Di Maria and millions of them, they weren't all bad. And half the time when they leave, they're all bloody good again.
Yeah. The environment can kill talent.
Absolutely. And I just don't know where a spark is going to come to actually... It will come eventually. Man United will win the league in 10 years, won't they? I mean, nobody could look at you and say, no chance.
I think
it could be in 4 years. It could be in 8. It could be in...
I was with someone today for lunch and they said 20 years.
Oh, it can't take that long. They're too big and too... It can't take that long. I mean, it's already been how long? 12
years.
I mean, Harry Kane should have, you know, a couple of years ago, that should have happened, I think. They could have got him, I think.
That's the biggest mistake I think they've made in the last 10 years. Yeah, well, I think if they go and play the number that Spurs want, they would have got him. And if we're to believe that, then I think if it didn't happen because of a couple of million here or there, I think it was a terrible decision. I honestly think, I'll say this and I'm convinced, if United had gone and got Declan Rice and Harry Kane in that window, Man United are in a different place now, because again, it goes back to the environment. Those two drive an environment, I think, together.
You do need an environment.
And I think you've got two players who are salt of the earth people, top pros.
Yeah. Who's there at the moment? I mean, I can imagine Harry Maguire would be quite vocal and quite, you know, a leader, but...
Bruno as well.
Yeah.
Leads I think he'll lead in a different way.
But if you look at your team and the team before that, imagine going into that Manchester United team with Ince and Rob and Keane or whatever, and McClare and Bruce and Pallister and Mark Hughes and
men.
You'd be petrified going in there.
No.
And then look at the team that you were a huge part of. I mean, the leaders in there. You know,
again,
the older players. That's a generation. That's your Nav and your Scholesy and your Giggsy, and then you coming into it. And even like then players like younger players that come from like Rooney, he was a leader, but they can then flourish. I mean, look what Liverpool had. They got brilliant with the likes of Henderson and Milner and players like that. And now they've got Virgil van Dijk and, you know...
But there's a culture of setting a standard every day there at the football club that they all have to adhere to. And it's like, that environment, I think, is so crucial. But Man United have to get to a point of creating that. The manager's got to cultivate that environment for those players to live and breathe in every day. Where you know it's like at training when you come to Man United. Training was harder than matches.
World War III.
On a Friday before a game, kicking lumps out of each other.
Unbelievable.
Olders versus youngers. It's like a mad game. It'd ruin your whole day if you didn't win that game.
And it's only when you move around different clubs you realise that that's not the norm. That's elite mentality. That's just winners. You know, how many times did the gaffer Fergie have to stop it? You know, like every Friday, it was a five-a-side, and it was supposed to be 10 minutes each way. I can't remember one finishing. Because if somebody's losing by 2 goals, right, well, we're not going to win now. Let's just go and smash
the life out of them, yeah.
Everyone just smashed the life out of each other. It's like, there's going to be no players left for tomorrow. I'm not a fan of, you know, people biting someone on the pitch like Suarez or people, or Rooney getting so mad that he screams at a ref or kicks somebody or stamps on someone. But I'm not condoning that. But that on the edge that's, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's in training. It was happening all the time.
Arguments every day.
Every time. Like Vidic used to sit by me. He'd come, if he wasn't pouring with blood, and if I wasn't trying to hold him from trying to kill somebody, if they lost, he was just, ears with steam coming out of his ears. It's like, Vida, doesn't matter. It's all right. Don't worry. There's a game tomorrow. It's forget about it.
He wouldn't talk to someone for 3-4 days.
I know. If they lost, or it was their fault for a goal or something. It's like, people think it's just going over the edge, but you can't turn these things on and off. When I was 18, if you walked in here, every single door would have a hole in it. I would have punched a hole in it. If I had lost a training game, I would be that mad that I couldn't sort of breathe. I would like be coming in and my dad would say like, how did training go? And I'm like, oh, we lost. And I'd be that wild, that like, and I just couldn't help myself through anger. And I would just have to go up to my room and just whack something or do something because I would be that angry. And it sounds really wrong, but that's like, that's why these people are...
It's weird, Wazza was like that.
Yeah.
I went to Wazza's house and then he was renting this house, by the way. It weren't even his house. There was holes in the wall, in the doors, and I was like... And he said,
"Listen, should have come to my house." There's a level where you have to get
on the edge.
Playing right on the edge, but without just going over. And if you're just nicey, I've been there, mate. I've trained with teams that are just not winners. You know, I've gone from elite teams and I've played for lesser teams. The difference in training.
What's that feeling like for you if you've been at an elite environment and then you go to something that isn't?
Well, I've said before, I mean, I sort of split my career into two, you know, almost Liverpool and maybe Madrid and then afterwards, because I just wasn't the same. Not that I didn't I loved it at United. I loved you and the lads and whatever. And,
physically you was inhibited.
I'm not me. You know what I was when I was 18 and you know what I was when I was 30. It's like,
night and day.
I was half embarrassed. I'm coming out with flipping to these big stadiums, St James's Park, Old Trafford, with my name on my back. It's like, can I not just change my name and just think of something, like call me something else? Don't want people to remember me like this. Still good, still scoring, but I'm not what I was. It's killing me. But it's like, what can you do?
First of all, I just want to point out the absolute ridiculousness of comparing Jordan Henderson and James Milner to that elite generation of footballing talent like the Nevilles and Giggsy and Keno and all of that. Henderson and Milner wouldn't have got in that team. Not a chance. Certainly not Henderson. Jordan Henderson, he was just a cog. He was a water carrier in that Liverpool side. So that is absolutely terrible. James Milner would have been in fact, you know what? I'd rather have John O'Shea than James Milner. And that's not even a disparaging remark to John O'Shea, because John O'Shea would be a £60 million defender, at least in today's game. Anyway, but he does make some interesting points, and that is the elite mentality that Alex Ferguson cultivated during his tenure as Manchester United manager. A title that doesn't really apply now because you just have head coaches and directors of football and all of that now, and owners and whatnot. But back then, Alex Ferguson was, in effect, a director of football, and it was René Meulensteen and Mick Phelan who were the head coaches. But anyway, I digress. The point is, he created and cultivated an environment of elite mentality, and it's actually really nice to sort of hear Michael Owen talk about what it was like, about, you know, how frustrated that they would get violent almost, and they were kicking lumps out of each other, and they had to calm down because they had to save it for the match at the weekend, and that training was harder than the match itself. And it's interesting that he points out that that was not the norm. And that just kind of shows you, like, every single footballer in the Premier League is talented. They are all talented. And barring a certain percentage, there won't be that much different in talent. But the difference between those at the top and those further down is mindset. I mean, if you think about it, like, every single footballer in the Premier League right now, probably they were all the best team on their street, the best team in their local team, the best team in their county, the best team in their area. And then they've gotten to a certain level where everyone was all of that kind of thing. Everyone was the best team in their county. Everyone was the best team in their area, etc., or one of at the very least. So all these Premier League clubs have siphoned off all of the best talent in the respective areas worldwide in today's global game. So the difference between those who win Ballon d'Ors and win Premier League titles and even the difference between players who play in the top six and the players that play in the bottom six is mindset. Who are the ones who just coast along on what talent they have, and who are the ones who make the most of what talent they have? You know, so it's really nice to hear Michael Owen talk about that kind of thing. But going back to the United team that we've got now, yes, I do agree with what he's saying. They need to get to that. But I do feel as though Ineos and Ruben Amorim have already laid the foundations for Manchester United to get back to that level. Because Ruben Amorim has sacrificed his first 10 months in charge or whatever it's been to sort of send a message that his standard is that standard by what Michael Owen has just mentioned there. And that if anyone doesn't strive for that standard, then they're out. That's why Marcus Rashford's not there anymore. That's why Garnacho's not there anymore. That's why Jadon Sancho's not there anymore. That's why Andre Onana is pretty much out the door now as well. So, yeah, I think they've laid that foundation down. And from what I've seen so far this season, they're all striving to get back to that. It just hasn't quite clicked just yet. So I'm quite hopeful about where Manchester United are going. And I really like, and I've said this time and time again, I really like the philosophy that Ineos are laying down. It's particularly with Barada, in that you've got 1, maybe 2 years to start performing, because at the end of the day, you get paid well. It's been a big investment to each player. You've got 1, maybe 2 years to start bearing fruit, or you're out. We're cutting our losses. So, which has been shown with the ruthless culling of, say, Rasmus Højlund, for instance, which certainly was unfortunate. But hey ho! But what do you guys think? Do you like what Michael had to say? Do you think Ruben Amorim, he's striving to get that elite mentality back in the dressing room? Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.